Adventure Out on White Mountains TV is presented by Adventure Suites, North Conway's amazing theme hotel.
Welcome to Adventure Out, where we take you out on an adventure here in the Mount Washington Valley. Joining us today, Chris Proulx, who recently went on an adventure out. How are you this morning, Chris?
I'm doing well. I've got 2 remote controls. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to recap our adventure.
Awesome. Let's see what it is.
Well, here's the thing. It's as we're recording this, it is early to mid-spring, and it's the in-between season. My family and I, my extended family, we're looking for a hike, something that we could do with young kids, but also something that wasn't too short. We wanted to make it worth the effort, and we found the perfect trail. We went out to the Champney Brook Trail. So let me fire up our big screen here, and we're going to fire up the Google map. So the Champney Brook Trail, it's off the Kancamagus Highway. It's a pretty flat trail, and it leads to a big payoff, the Champney Brook Falls. From North Conway, which you see here, what you do is you actually just head 16 south, get on the Kancamagus Highway, and Google says it's about 10 and a half. I thought it was about 11 miles to the trailhead. It's actually on the south side of the Kank, so you'll actually take a left into the trailhead parking lot. The trail starts off, it basically goes through a valley. It's a very popular hiking trail, especially in the summer. It's one of the ways you can get up to the top of Mount Chocorua. But it starts off for about, I think it's about 1.5 miles, going through a pretty flat section, just a little bit of climbing towards the end, but you're going through a valley along Champney Brook. And so it's great for people who just want to, do a quick hike. I think it's about a 2-hour round trip, they estimate. Yeah. But it's great for, young kids. We have a 4-year-old who isn't really climbing high mountains yet. His stamina and his attention span may not be there. We also had a 1-year-old that we strapped to my wife's back. So
the best way to travel.
Exactly. So it's a popular way to hike Mount Chocorua, but it's a great just a great segment hike as well. Here's the family at the trailhead. The Bulls Trail also leaves from there. There's my son. It is on national forest, so it's well maintained, and of course it's a great hike for a golden retriever puppy. We found out the hard way earlier this spring. You might want to keep her away from water sources, especially if they're stagnant, because you can get giardia. And she experienced that, so we had her on the leash for most of the hike, although we did let her off on some. And the hike parallels the Champney Brook the whole way, which is actually a pretty clean water source, I think. You're not supposed to drink any water source,
right, of course.
But this is running, and it's pretty clean. Champney Falls, again, it's named after Benjamin Champney, who was a turn-of-the-century painter. He lived in the, actually it has it right here, 1817 to 1907. There are things named in his honor across the White Mountains and Mount Washington Valley. The Red Jacket sits on Sunset Hill right here in North Conway. That was a famous spot for him to paint. Apparently they named their dining room after him. Artist Falls Brook here in North Conway. Cranmore has named a lot of things after Artist Falls. That was named after Benjamin Champney, so probably the most famous painter to emerge from the Mount Washington Valley and the White Mountains. So that's the start of the hike right there. We were surprised. This was after the record heat that we had in March.
Right.
A couple of 80-degree days. We thought there would be no snow on the trail at all. There was still some snow, which made things a little bit tricky. It's tough this time of year. There was a little bridge crossing over the stream right to start things off. It's tough this time of year to gauge what you're going to expect, especially when you're hiking slopes that are north-facing and particularly sheltered from the sun. They'll hold snow a lot longer. So
absolutely.
Even though this was a relatively low snow year and we got some record-breaking heat, you never know. You're still going to find snow deep into the woods. So prepare. We actually went in sneakers. Some had some bigger hiking boots, and that proved to be okay for the most part, and especially as we get into the spring. I think that's going to be fine. You might have to deal with a little bit of mud here and there.
That's always a fun part of a hike.
Yes, and you can see this is the main trail right here, and what probably stands out is it looks like you're almost walking in a riverbed, but most of this right here is snow melting, and I think by now it's actually probably
mostly gone.
Melted out. But again, so hiking through the trail, it's a beautiful hike. You're surrounded by some mature conifers. You've got pine and spruce and fir trees along the way. And again, it parallels the Champney Brook.
And of course, in the summer, there's going to be a lot more tree cover. So it'll be a little bit more shady than what you saw here.
Yep, the trail has been repositioned over the years slightly, so you do have to pay attention for some arrows and some signs which redirect you. And here you can see we do start a little bit of a climb. There's no strenuous climb involved to at least getting to the falls. If you go past that, you're going to climb Mount Champney. That gets a little bit strenuous.
It's a little tricky.
But you can see the dog and the 4-year-old are managing it without much problem. And it's actually, once you start getting up on the ridge a little bit, it's actually a really beautiful hike. It's just there's something about the terrain under your feet. It's that spongy, conifer forest feel.
Thousands of years of
primeval.
Primeval.
There's the mother-in-law. She's looking down on Champney Brook now. She was doing that spontaneously. I didn't pose her or anything. There's the 1.5-year-old taking the ride on mom's back. So again, she was able to withstand it. She usually has the shortest patience, the 1.5-year-old. So it's actually, again, the perfect distance. There are short hikes out there, Diana's Bath, for example, great, beautiful, easy, but you get there very quickly. This was the perfect distance. I think it was about 1.4 miles in and then 1.4 miles out. Eva the dog, loving it. And then eventually, there's Champney Falls and Pitcher Falls. You can continue on the trail up to Mount Champney. To view the falls is actually a 0.4-mile loop. So you just go a little bit on that loop trail and you'll get to the falls. We didn't do the loop back to the falls, back to the main trail. We just went back and hiked back towards the car.
And there's the family enjoying their adventure out.
There's the family. We got to the falls, and here's some pictures of what the falls actually look like. Now, the best time to do this trail are the spring months, because once you get into the summer, they dry up.
Yeah.
They're popular with ice climbers in the winter because they trickle and they freeze and they form these great ice walls. But right now, March, April, May is a good time to go see them. Once you get into June, July, especially August, you're going to say, "Where's the waterfall?" It's barely a trickle coming over the rocks. But I think it's about 70 feet of a waterfall, and it's tiered, so it comes down in multiple cascades. I was actually impressed with it. If you see it in the spring, it is very beautiful. You'll see why artists like Benjamin Champney thought this was an inspiration and painted here frequently. And there's the lower section of the falls. There's also another waterfall called Pitcher Falls. There's the mother-in-law. That's Pitcher Falls right there, which is actually pretty spectacular.
Wow.
Again, you want to see that in high water, because in the summertime, that probably won't even be there, and you'll wonder, where's this Pitcher Falls everybody's talking about? But there's the mother-in-law, and if she's happy, it's been a good adventure.
There you go.
So.
And I would imagine, though, any of these spots, you might in the summer be able to go after a rainstorm, but it just sounds like it's a great hike going in anyway. So even, this is the payoff at the end, but it sounds like you had a great time walking in and out into the fall.
As someone with a young family, and especially in the spring months, looking for something to do that isn't covered in snow or completely muddy, this was a great option. It's hard to find these, so definitely check it out. The Champney Brook Trail off the Kancamagus Highway. I've posted the Google Maps so you can get directions at whitemountainsinfo.com. Just click on Adventure Out, and there you go.
There you go, and there's always lots of adventures you can do here in the Mount Washington Valley. So Chris Proulx, thanks so much, and you have a great time on your Adventure Out.
Adventure Suites, the only theme hotel in North Conway, is where you can stay in a cave, a treehouse, a movie theater, a Harley-Davidson suite, or one of many more themed jacuzzi suites. Boldly survive a night in the newest adventure suite, The Jungle. Soak in a 5-person hot tub, hot springs nestled among rock ledges with a waterfall and a vibrant fiber optic starry sky. Your kids will love the glow in the dark Gorilla Villa with its own flat-screen TV and PlayStation 2. Adventure Suites offers excellent adventure packages combining your stay with the area's great activities. And for those looking for relaxation, they offer in-room massages, room service, and an excellent assortment of romance, birthday, and wedding packages. Adventure Suites is pet-friendly and makes a great gift. Best of New Hampshire, Best of Boston, New Hampshire Chronicle. See why everyone is talking about Adventure Suites. Stop in and take a free tour to see the incredible rooms for yourself. Call anytime at 603-356-9744, visit adventuresuites.com, or find them on Facebook for discounts and promotions.